the soldering versus press fitting debate is going to go absolutely crazy on this video. As I said, it's real world plumbing. So the only way I'm going to be able to do this, the press fit haters are going to love this. And I completely agree. And again, this is what I want to show is... Right, welcome back to the channel. Hope everybody is doing well. We are back today at the house renovation where we're now connecting up the heating pipes from the underfloor heating manifold and the heating system into the boiler. So we're going to have to zone it off. We're going to have to put two-port zone valves in to make it an S-plan in essence, so that the heating system can work independently from the underfloor heating system. We can turn it on and off, each one as and when they need it doing. So we're connecting that into where the boiler is. Little bit of press fit. Please don't think this channel is just going to turn into a press fit channel, because it's not, as you will see in this video. I'm still on the fence with press fit. I'm still getting used to it. As you'll see in the video coming up, there's pros and cons with it, and exactly what I want to highlight. This is the whole point of me taking you on this journey. That sounds a little bit like a big grand thing, but taking you on this journey, I can't think of another way of putting it, taking you along for the ride. But this is why I want to take you along and show you me getting used to it, because it's all new to me, as I've said before. But you'll see in this video, we come across a little bit of a head scratching moment with it. So that's all to come. Also, a lot of people are asking me about install a show. Yes, I'm going to install a show. I'm going to be there on the Tuesday with Thomas Dudley tied on their stand, and the Wednesday, as always, with Snug Underfloor Heating. So if you see me, come along, have a chat, have a catch up, have a bit of a chat about press fit, or a bit of a chat about whatever you want and whatever you see on the channel. I've been saying this for so long, I keep wanting to do some YouTube lives. So drop a comment below whether you want to see me do live from the van once a month or something like that. It's something that I want to do. I just need that little bit of shove over the line to get it up and running. Right, that's enough waffle from me. As always, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, drop me a comment, all that sort of jazz. And hope you enjoy the video. Yeah, it's a little bit interesting. We are back today at the house where we've been doing the underfloor heating, carcassing for the kitchen, carcassing for the upstairs bathroom or the ensuite that's going in, and also bringing the pipework for the underfloor heating manifold into the garage where the boiler position is, because we've got to alter around the pipework that currently feeds the heating system. So we've got to put in an S-plan, in effect, 2 zone valves on this boiler setup, because at the minute, currently, this is the flow, this is the return. It's currently just going off to feed the heating system as normal, not a problem. What we've got here is these 2 flow and return pipes coming direct from the manifold that feed the underfloor heating system. So what we've got to do is tee that into the heating system, but what we don't want is when the customer calls for underfloor heating to come on, the rest of the house to come on, and vice versa. If they've got the rest of the house to come on and they don't want the underfloor heating on, we want to be able to separate those 2 systems. So what we're going to do is the return, this is the return from the boiler, return can be teed in here because that's going back to the boiler, not a problem. We're then going to bring the flow from the underfloor heating manifold across here. I'm going to run it down here. I'm going to put a 2-port zone valve here, and then it's going to come across, stab up there. This is currently the flow from the boiler going to the heating system. We need to put a zone valve in here. So it's going to come out the boiler, into a T here, down to our new pipework for the underfloor heating, off the T here, up, zone valve here, and onto the existing heating system. So in effect, putting an S-plan into what is just a normal combi boiler. So that's what we're going to be doing there. I'm also going to alter this pipe here because it's just annoying me. I did think about redoing everything here to make it neater, but to be honest, I haven't got the time and I haven't quoted to put that in. But as for the other bit, we're going to get that done, and then we can get the heating system as good as ticked off before we fill it up. So what we're going to do first of all is cut a T into this return pipe, elbow across and into the underfloor heating return. I could have teed that into a return anywhere in the system, but I wanted to bring it back right down to the boiler just for my own peace of mind really. And as you know, I'm getting used to the press fit stuff, so we're going to do it in press fit again. I've got the elbows, got the T's here, so the heating system's already drained down, so it's just a case of cutting this out, press the T in first so we've got a fixed point, then up across onto the return. So what I'm going to start off doing is, we've got our press fit elbow, is just mark exactly where it's going to go here and there, and then we can cut this pipe work out, get this T pressed in, and then we can work from the top of the T at a fixed point, elbow there, and that's the return done. Then we can concentrate on getting the flow across. So let's pull that out of there and let's get this pipe work cut out. So we've got that cut out. Let's just clean the ends of these pipes up, ready for the press fit T to go on. Like so. Pop that in there, that in there, and as I've showed you on the other videos, and it's a thing, is mark the edge of where that's going. Let's say for instance you put the jaws on there, which is exactly what happened in the other video, and that pulled out a little bit there. You can see that it's moved out. So we've got them in there. Let's put a little bit of pipe in the top and get that T pressed in position. So we've got our T there. Let's get the jaws on. That's looking upright. Hit the button. Same this side. And then same with the top one. That's that done. And then with these giblet fittings, you know that they've been pressed because them films come off. Got your marks, everything's good, solid. What we can do now is get them clips back on. Tap that with the hammer in a minute. Get the elbow in there, get it connected onto the return pipe there, and then we can start bringing the flow down into its position. So that's the return pipe work connected in. I pressed this bit, I had to pull this pipe down. I didn't film it because A, I had nowhere to put the camera when I was doing it, and B, it needed two hands, but I had to pull this pipe down. It's on on a plastic pipe running that way, so there was a little bit of give in it, but I had to pull this down to get that connection on and then offer it up into place to carry on doing these bits here. A lot of people have said in the comments on the first few videos I've done with press fit is they don't know if, you know, why you're using that. Soldering's easier, you know, it's going to cost an absolute fortune. I am going to do a video comparing the two, but for this, to get that into position and to press them bits in there took literally 2 or 3 minutes. If you just tried to solder up there, you've got the risk of there's a little bit of lagging and whatnot up there. So as I say, there's pros and cons to everything. I'm not massively taken with press at the minute, but doing this bit down here and underneath the boiler is going to be the first sort of time I've done quite a bit of it, because before it's been like 2 connections here or a connection there. So yeah, getting that in there has saved a little bit of hassle. We've now got to bring the flow across. I'm going to bring the flow in front of here, behind this shower waste, which we've got to get into the stack at some point. So that pipe will be there. Bring it across here, and I'm going to drop it down, and then we can concentrate underneath the boiler here, getting it in, and there's going to be a good bit there to crack on with press-wise. But yeah, I am going to do a video comparing it, and I also think I'm going to do a video with a jig and have everything set up, and then see what the difference is to soldering up, say, an elbow, a T, a reducer, all in line on a jig compared to pressing it, which is Going to be quicker, but it'd be interesting to see just how much quicker it's going to be. So let's crack on with this bit. So there's a couple of clips in there. We've got a 22mm going up there. I'm going to have to pull a little set to bring this pipe out, because we're going to run across the front of these pipes to the heating pipe here. You could have used a 22mm elbow and then a street elbow to go that way with the press fit, and like people will say, you could have just pulled a bend. Using 2 elbows is, what would that work out to be? Probably £8, I suppose, for 2 elbows for that, which is, granted, it's expensive. I would just bend it everywhere I think I can using press fit. I'm going to bend pipework, so in a way it's probably going to make you hone your bending skills that little bit better using press fit, because you're very conscious about how much the fittings are. Whereas if that was a 22mm end feed, you just bang and then, well, to be fair, I'll probably still pull the bend, but you'd use 2 elbows and not worry about it because it's a couple of quid. Whereas with press fit, it's going to be more expensive. So we're going to put a little set on there, just bring that out to roughly around this sort of area. Then we can just send it straight across, elbow on there, and then we can work down and begin putting the zone valve on and sorting out how we're going to connect it to the heating system. Let's pull that out there, as we'll bend that. Oh, I know roughly how far out we want to bring that. Jesus Christ, this garage is so full of crap because the people are trying to move in. There we go, I think. A little bit more on that. So we've now got the flow pipe coming down here. We've got the 2-port zone valve on it. Obviously that is controlling the underfloor heating. So we're going to come down here, across here, and what we're going to do is put a T here, put a T here, and then come up for my heating zone valve. I'll probably sight that roughly about there, and then we can come straight off the top of that into here on an elbow, because this is going to be cut out, into here on an elbow with that there, and then we can come out the other side of the T, up and into the flow from the boiler. So we'll have the 2 zone valves side by side, or as good as side by side, just step down slightly there and then straight up that side into the flow. So let's get a little bit of pipe in here, let's get a T pressed in, we can set that zone valve there, and then we can get this cut, and what I might try and do is pull this forward a little bit off the bottom of the boiler. So I've come across a little issue with the press fit on this job. Let me turn the camera around and try and explain exactly what's going on here. So we've got the flow coming down here, we've got a T in it, we've got the drain off on fine, we've got this T all pressed into place. So I'm working back from this point now here. So we put a tiny little set on this pipe here for this zone valve, which is going to be feeding the heating circuit. So that's going to be set there into position. So when we come up now off the top of here to get onto this pipe here, with, in principle, what I was going to use was a press fit elbow. I'm just conscious of pressing too close to this soldered joint here, so I've left that much. So we're working to there. So I bent a little bit of 22mm with a set to see if we could get it to work, but the actual set is still going to be within where the pipe sits into the collar of the elbow. So I haven't got any 22mm, and to be fair, I've never ever used them, and that is 45-degree bends. I have never ever soldered a 45-degree bend on a bit of pipe. I've even looked at them and thought, who the hell would use them? But on press fit, it seems to be a bit of a thing. However, I haven't got any. I think they would have worked coming out of there, 2 45s into the bottom of there. Haven't got any, so the only way I'm going to be able to do this, the press fit haters are going to love this, and I completely agree. And again, this is what I want to show, is soldering a street elbow into that fit in there. That's going to take us directly down onto the top of this valve there. We can't push it any further this way because we need to get that elbow on this line, this centre line, to get back onto the boiler. So that is the only way of doing it without having 2 45-degree 22mm bends on there. So that goes to show sometimes press fit isn't brilliant when you're in such a little tight space and you've got to use a street elbow, and this is me learning the way with it. I'm sure someone will go, oh, you could have done it this way or that way. What I'm going to do is unsweat that out there, pop that elbow into there, straight into the top of our valve, and then come off the side there. But it's, I suppose this is little things that you learn, you pick up on the way. Plus, it brings me back to this point of how close can you press fit a fitting next to a soldered fitting. I didn't want to go too close for obvious reasons, so let's get this out, get the street elbow in. So this has turned into a little bit of a faff, and it's now become a bit of press fit and a bit of normal soldering of fittings, because as I said, the only way we could get it was with that street elbow, but I had to end up cutting it out slightly and tweaking it a little bit. But we're there or thereabouts now, so we'll get this connected into this zone valve, which will then go off to do the heating. Then we can come off here and go directly up into the boiler. So let's get this soldered up, and then we can carry on pressing along here. I know the soldering versus press fitting debate is going to go absolutely crazy on this video, but as I said, it's real world plumbing, and this is a prime example of not having all the fittings yet to do the jobs. If I'd had a couple of press fit street elbows, or even the press fit 45s, I think we would have been able to do it with that. But in my head, I suppose again, it's a learning curve, because when you bend a 45, like that, you've still got that radius where the benders actually push the pipe round, and obviously you can't connect onto that, but it throws it all out slightly. On this fitting, pushed it either too far or not enough. But as I say, let's get this soldered up, and then we can crack on and get the other bit connected up into the boiler. Right, we've got that soldered up now. Let's get this pressed now, locked in, and then we can come off and do the other side of it here. So we've got all this connected up now. We're now going to press this end of the T onto this elbow up into the bottom of the boiler, and then that is that done with our two zone valves. This one for the underfloor heating, this one for the normal radiators and the rest of the house. So we flow off the boiler up into this valve when it opens for the heating, comes up, that valve off to the underfloor heating, and obviously we've connected up there as well. So let's get these last little fittings pressed, and that's that done. We'll mark there and there and there, and also up there on that one. So let's work from here, make sure that's in. So with that done, while we're here as well, I just noticed the return pipe is just, they've put two press fit fittings here and just gone skew-iffed right into the boiler there. So I'm going to cut it off here, level this up, just put a little set on it. So we'll have a coupler here, and I'll put a coupler in there and just a little set to bring that behind, just so it looks a little bit neater going up to there. Otherwise it's just going to annoy me. So we'll cut that off and cut it off low level and get it switched out. So I've got a little bit of 22 mil, put a little set on it, so we'll just put this in here with two couplers, pop that in there. It just looks a little bit neater than the other one that was just sort of skew-iff and going off to the right hand side. But yeah, I just seen it and thought while I'm here I'm going to do it because it's going to annoy the hell out of me otherwise. So we'll get this in, get it crimped up. We'll give the ends of this a little bit of clean up, like so. As you can see as well, there is water still in this pipe. So this is a pro. So we go from a con, pros and cons. We've gone from a con here that was a bit of a pain in the ass because we couldn't get the elbow in, to a bit of a pro here because we've still got water in this return pipe. So when we put the coupler on, just press it, it's not a problem. If you try to solder it, as we all know, it would be an absolute nightmare to get the water out of it. So we'll just do that. We'll pop these on. So with them couplers on there, we'll probably just have to ease that down ever so slightly to get our bit of pipe in, but we'll get it in and get it pressed up. There we go, job done. It's a little bit neater now, going up into the boiler. So there we go, we've got that done, we've got the pipe work done, ready for the zones. We've also got the pipe work up here. I will get some lagging on this, and then we've also, at a later date, got to connect the shower waste into this stack here. So there we go, another little session with the press fit, trying to get my head around it, but it just goes to show sometimes you've got to use your soldering alongside your press, unless you've got every single fitting known to man, because there's so many. There's passover bends, obtuse bends, street 45, street elbows, but I need to stock up on a few more fittings. So hope you've enjoyed this little video, a little bit more of the press fit. As I say, I am going to do a complete comparison video with costings and speed and time and all that sort of stuff soon, but I'm going to do that as soon as I get a chance, because I think it's going to be a video that quite a few of you are going to be interested in with that comparisons. So I hope you've enjoyed that. As always, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and I'll catch you soon. We are today doing a little bit of connecting, can't even get it out today. Right, welcome back to the channel.